What's good? This is Nick Blonde, and I'm here to show you the breakdown of how I made my newest single, Bad. I made this song in June of 2020 in the summer and worked on it basically until last month in January. So this has been a long work in progress. I did a lot of experimenting with this. So we have these strings in the beginning. And then I have a take of me. This is probably back in June.
I fear the dark because I fear what I can't see.
Here's my voice without the voice effect.
I fear the dark because I fear what I can't see.
We have these guitars with this riff. I had a second guitar go. And I put some chorus reverb together that sounds like. For the verse I recorded. And then over that riff I did a. Together that sounds like. Then the interlude or the bridge, whatever you want to call that, I just strummed out some chords. So the guitar part of the intro happens again here at the outro. And then right here at the outro, this is actually one note that you're hearing. I put some delay, reverb, EQ. I printed it. That's it for the guitars. Let's move on to the synths. So the synths only come in during the bridge, and I have 4 layered synths here, and did a bunch of tricks with them to get them sounding how I wanted them to. I started with this wobble synth, and it's actually the preset that I made for Billie Eilish's song, Belly Ache. This is what that sounds like. So then I layered this Juno. Layered with another synth. Very quiet. We got some dreamy bells. That's what gives it that sparkle, and then we have. It gives it a more lo-fi texture. Altogether, the synths have a big cohesive sound. And with the guitars. Let's move on to the bass. For the low end, got some 808s here in the intro. We reverse 808 into the bridge. I also have this verbed out kit. Then for the second verse, I have this bass guitar. So in the first part of the verse, when it came in, I was just finger playing it, and I started slapping it to hype it up and like build it up to the next part. And the same thing plays as 808. In the outro, I just have a basic bass line following the guitar. And that's it for the bass. Let's move on to drums. And this is one of my favorite parts. This is what I think draws you into the song. This hi-hat pattern right here. The hi-hats are now going consistently in a pattern, not just they're now consistent, and it gets faster and faster. And then you have this off-kilter swing with the drums. I always do this with my hi-hats. It's a ta 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 to accent it rather than just right in your face and being numbing. And what I really, really love about this song is the kick pattern. You're expecting the kick hitting on the first downbeat of the measure, which is very, very typical. 99% of all songs, kick always hits on the first downbeat. Nick Blonde doesn't do that. He put the kick on the upbeat. That's why it kind of puts your chin down, and then as it's coming up, you're like, and it hits. I don't know how to describe it. Just listen to it. This is what it sounds like. It's not really a melodic song. It's very staccato. The energy comes from the placement of my consonants and the way I'm saying my words. Like, and a da 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 da. Da 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 da, and that going along with this off-kilter drum pattern adds a really unique and different sound and flavor. The verse, which is the same thing, but I love the way the kick comes in before the verse. It's like knocking on the door, and then bam, it comes in. It's very dry and clean. All that's in your face is the vocals. It goes beautifully with the bass. At the outro, nothing's changed. So I have these sweeps. It's supposed to make a tension and release feeling. Let's move on to the vocals. I re-recorded the original vocals in June when I was really bad at singing, and I hated my voice. I still do, but a little less, and that's why I didn't have this song finished any sooner. This is my lead vocal for the verse. I feel a rush, now have a new crush, yeah, which with it. And I put 2 breathy risers on this. I feel a rush. And then on the second part of the intro, I doubled my vocals, meaning I put 1 take on the right, 1 take on the left, the main one down the middle, and then a monster box. I've been alone, yeah, what do you know? Working from home. And then all together. I've been alone, yeah, working from home. Yeah, what do you know? So this next verse is altered, and I did these vocals on purpose. It wasn't just like me, like, oh, that sounds cool. Everything is intentional. It's very experimental, but I told a story with every element of the song that I could. That's even like the textures of it. There's 2 people, 3 perspectives. One is my perspective speaking to the listener. The other is my conscience talking to myself in my head, what my thoughts are. And then the third one is the other person in their head, their conscience, talking to me, what they wish they could say. This has been re-recorded probably 100 times, and I'm still not happy with it, but this is it. Here's dubs. Dubs meaning I record double takes on right and left speaker, so they're panned and they sound really thick. Here's that. Is she bad, bad, bad? Don't you really wanna? You wanna one so bad. And then we have the lead. Yeah, she bad, bad, bad. Don't you really wanna? You wanna one. And then we have the monster. Yeah, she bad, bad, bad. Don't you really wanna? We have the baby vox. Yeah, she bad, bad, bad. Don't you really wanna? And we have a whisper. Yeah, she bad, bad, bad. Don't you really wanna? And then all together, that sounds like this. Yeah, she bad, bad, bad. Don't you really wanna? You wanna one so bad. And then from the chorus transition to the interlude, it has probably taken me, without exaggeration, 40 hours, but spread over the course of a few months. So this part is pretty cool. Take a listen. Don't know what think, just know it's right. I can go a whole nother video explaining what's happening here, but I'm just gonna go over the surface. I have 2 dubs, 1 right, 1 left, the lead vocal, and then these tracks right here that you're seeing. These are just printed in super wet reverb, and they're just kind of like handing it off between this dry, normal vocal and this wet that leads into this huge interlude and makes it super wet sounding. This is what they would sound like soloed out.
Just know it's right. Just know it's right.
This is a Dom type beat verse, and I'm definitely inspired by his new album. And the way he recorded his vocals, he would have a high-pitched vocal and then 2 lower-pitched vocals panned left and right. I'll show you that right here. This is the high-pitched vocal with a little tiny saturation and distortion.
If the feeling's right, just know you gotta. Don't hesitate to fuck up, let's be honest.
And that took me a pretty good amount of time to mix because it was so harsh, and I have a $50 microphone. It's not super hard to make it sound good, but to make it sound how I wanted to, it took me a minute to do so. And here's the 2 vocals on the right and the left overdubs.
If the feeling's right, just know you gotta. Don't hesitate.
And together that sounds like this.
If the feeling's right, just know you gotta. Don't hesitate to fuck up, let's be honest.
And then for the second hook, it's the same thing, the interlude, and then we go to the outro, and it's just layered with some older harmonies that were recorded in the summer. I'm just gonna show them separately, and these are printed out. I would do 4 takes, print them just to save CPU space because that's a lot to process. So I have 4 different takes on the right, 4 different vocal takes on their left, and they're all printed into one track, and they're all harmonizing.
I want you bad. I want you bad.
Here's the low harmonies.
I want you bad.
Here's overdubs of the melody.
I want you bad.
And here's the lead vocal of the melody.
I want you bad.
And at the end of that, I automated some reverb to tail end.
Bad.
And that is it. It's out now. Go stream it if you haven't heard it already. I'm Nick Blonde. This is Bad. Please subscribe, like, turn on my notifications. Thanks.